The Wild Robot is one of the best animated films of the decade so far. Look, I expected to be the contrarian with this film as the plot always felt formulaic and generic to me, and I've read the book, but it's been so unbelievably long that thing is just completely wiped from my memory at this point. I'll get to that later, but the trailers for this film I thought were really solid, but nothing was grabbing my attention, but everybody was loving it. I finally checked it out. I was so unbelievably wrong. This thing is incredible. This is just a beautiful, tear jerking story on motherhood and love that had me on the verge of tears during its wonderful third act. The score for this film, godly. It's amazing. The score for this film is incredible. The composer, I'm sorry I forgot their name, just bravo, applause. Because you cooked with this film and its score, or only its score because you didn't really work on anything else. I don't know what I'm doing. The voice performances are all perfect. Everyone gives it their all. Specifically, Pedro Pascal's Fink the Fox, who I found to be the standard of the entire film. He might be my favorite character because the character arc that he goes through, great. It's greatly written. I loved what they did with the character, and I loved him a lot. And his small character arc so much, as already mentioned. Lupita Nyong'o plays the protagonist, Roz the robot, and she does a fantastic job. Because maybe this is my recency bias talking or something like that, but Roz might be one of my favorite DreamWorks protagonists of all time. Up there with, I don't know, Shrek. Maybe not that far, but I love the character. Incredible character arc that Roz has. Seriously, this film and her character has me just wanting to buy the book again just to fuel my love for this movie. I'm going to need a bunch of sequels, and I know the book has sequels, so there's no reason not to. And I've also heard that this is doing pretty well at the box office, so come on, DreamWorks. Getting into specifics, I loved how the film set everything up, introducing the audience to a robot that doesn't really have any feelings during the prologue, if you will, during the beginning of the film. She doesn't have any real feelings or any real personality traits. But the film does such a great job at introducing you to this character that you actually feel bad for it when it discovers. It's not really a spoiler, but when it discovers that it has no real purpose in the wild and it's just stuck there. A great compliment towards Lupita Nyong'o's phenomenal performance and her voice acting ability. The scene where Roz meets her, in quotation marks, child is such a powerful scene that is amplified by what comes later in the story and what actually set up her finding the child, a Gosling, I think it was, yeah. What I didn't expect from this film is how laugh out loud funny it is. Me and my cinema were just laughing the entire way, not the entire way through. That would just be weird because considering the amount of emotionally captivating scenes there are. But you know what I mean. This film is funny. The writing for this film is incredible because it is able to balance these like heart-wrenching emotional scenes with funny stuff. It's a funny film. Which is just a breath of fresh air considering that a lot of animated films in this day and age love to dumb down their writing to get kids to understand everything, which is just weird because kids can perfectly understand anything if it's presented correctly, and this was just a greatly appreciated breath of fresh air because it felt like nothing was dumbed down for its audience because it presents everything perfectly. A few years back, I had to read the book for like a school project or something like that, and I remember liking it, but I don't really remember anything as I previously mentioned. So it did really feel like I was experiencing this fantastic story for the first time. It's emotionally captivating and compelling with just the right blend of lightheartedness and emotion, which is literally everything I need right now, if I'm being honest. There are multiple moments in this film that just left me speechless due to how visually beautiful they look. The animation here is just appalling. It looks so good. And I saw this film in IMAX, so just blown away with how amazing this film looks. It's incredible. The emotion they conveyed in those scenes that I'm talking about. So it's a great film. I only really have one, and it's kind of a minor little gripe that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's also hard to talk about it without spoiling something, but I'll try. There's a scene featuring a factory and a giant robot of sorts that felt kind of out of place, and a major moment that actually matters in the story takes place completely off screen, and we don't find out about it until later, so that was kind of strange. Again, it's a very, very minor gripe that doesn't really take away from how brilliant this film really is, but just something I thought I'd mention. So The Wild Robot is the best animated film of 2024 so far. So far, and if I'm being brutally honest, I think it'll probably stay that way because I don't know what else are we even gonna get. Moana 2, but I really am not that excited for that film, even though I do like the first one. But overall, The Wild Robot, a tearjerker with a lot of heart and passion poured into it. Please go see this in theaters if you can. It's a wonderful film that deserves your time and money.